is Renee. We're at WWDC 2013. I'm at the App.net offices, and I'm talking to Dalton Caldwell. How are you, Dalton?
I'm doing great. Thanks for talking to me. Thanks for coming by.
Here. I wanted to try and get a sort of a state of the union on App.net on iOS. How is it progressing, and where do you see it today?
Sure. I mean, what's great about iOS is that we've had great apps almost from the beginning, even before the API was really done. Right? Like
they're excited.
So from the get-go, we've had apps that people want to use that have been polished, and just on the microblogging vertical, there's now several flagship applications that have gotten multiple updates. So NetBot, obviously, Repost has been updated quite a bit. Felix has also been extremely popular. Those are the biggest three in terms of market share, I believe.
And those are like your traditional social network clients.
Those are microblogging applications. And so just the fit and finish there is quite high. People like them. I've seen people.
The variety is amazing. Like you can get a very different experience when you go from app to app.
Oh yeah, it's they're different takes.
Yeah.
And in total, there's probably 30 iOS apps or so in the directory. I should get the exact count, but there's quite a bit of variety. And what's been really exciting on iOS is, look, I from day one have been saying, hey, App.net is not. We don't just want to be a new microblog because I'm not sure the world needs that.
Yeah, no microblog.
Right. But the world needs a place for developers that want to innovate on UI design and that want to be able to build different kinds of social applications. They need a place to build on because there really aren't a lot of choices.
An open playground.
Right. Yeah. There needs to be a place that if you want to experiment and build a small business, what are you going to be building it on? And so what's been great that's happened on iOS is just 2 weeks ago, Whisper came out.
Yeah.
And so it was built by the Repost guys. So they had a great code base to start with that used the API. They had a visual language to think about how to render things. And Whisper is a straight up group messaging app. Right?
Yeah,
so you can use Whisper and never microblog.
There's a lot of people using it at WWDC this whole week.
Yeah. And it's all private, so you're not going to see that in public, but you can use it to show your location. You can send stickers. There's all this fun stuff you can do. And when I showed it to people, even though I've said, hey, this platform is not just for microblogging, people don't believe me.
Yeah.
but demoing the application, being like, look, you can use this right now. It's live in the App Store. This is not vaporware. People are like, oh. Like, I've seen a lot of people get it.
And if you just saw that, you might not even be aware that it's built on App.net.
That's correct. The way you'd see it is on that first screen, it says log in with your App.net account.
Yeah.
That's the idea. And that's why our iOS app is called Passport, is we're doing single sign-on for you to, say a new app comes out, click, authorize, you're in. So that's why Passport's really important to us.
And it's good because passport entry is still not well done on mobile. It's still a chore.
Yeah, especially with two-factor auth.
Yes.
Like for me as a user, I have two-factor auth turned on. Everyone should. But you have to generate application-specific passwords, which is really laborious. With Passport, you do single sign-on 2FA to Passport, and then once you have that live session, you can log into all the other apps. So you can have 2FA turned on, but not have to go through the laborious process.
And one of the things that we were talking about beforehand that I like about App.net so much is I've used messaging clients before that were bought by big companies and just disappeared. And then it's always hard to go find your friends again. What network are you going to go to? You have to make this mutual agreement.
Yeah.
Maybe some people go to different networks. But with App.net, if one client got bought or goes away, there's another client that you can use.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if you look at the group messaging space, if you look at the charts, there's like 15 or so popular group messaging applications that are on the top of the charts. None of them can talk to each other, but people are still interested in them. And as a third-party developer, you can't build a new front end for WhatsApp, right? You can't build a new front end for Kik.
And it's really hard to get a user base the size of what
you need. It'll take years, right? And it takes a lot of money to do that. So the opportunity for a third-party dev on our platform is that if you want to build a new group messaging UI with a new paradigm and sell your own sticker packs or what have you, you can build that, and it taps into the same network. And so we had our hackathon a few days ago, and what was so great about it is the flagship apps I just mentioned to you were all built by 1 or 2 person teams.
Yeah.
And the fact that a 1 or 2 person team could build something that's good enough for experts at iOS apps to use, right?
Yeah, at the biggest iOS conference in the world.
Right, like this isn't like, oh yeah, nice job, kid, this is good.
Absolutely.
It's really high quality software that's being able to be built by 1 or 2 person teams. To me, that's exciting. Because to build the whole backend to do a group messaging service, that's going to take 10 employees. That's going to take years to do.
And then a really nice thing about Appnet is you have the microblogging, you have the storage API, you have the messaging API, and it seems like devs are almost doing mixes of these things.
Yeah.
Like some are photo-centric, but you can also comment on them. Some are, just storage pools. Some are the, complete messaging that you can't really do photos or the other kind of stuff on. And all these different varieties built on the same infrastructure.
I think that's right. And what we've seen on iOS is devs first wanted to satisfy the demand that the early user base did for microblogging, because that seemed pretty straightforward.
Non-douchey microblogging.
Yeah, fair enough. But that's what users wanted. Yes. So, okay, devs will satisfy what people want. They'll do what makes money for it. But now they all are like, they've all written code for it. They know the platform. They know the user base. They have a reputation. So a lot of them are starting to build second apps, just like the Repose guys did.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff I've seen in development, which I can't talk about, where like, they give me builds of this stuff on my phone. I'm like, wow, this is...
They're really great ideas.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, think about Snapchat, right? Yeah. Like, I never would have thought of it, but it's the culmination of the same old ingredients that we've seen time and time again. But there was something about that mixture of ingredients that made it be, what is it, like the #1 download right now? Like, it's like taking over the world.
The #1 download on the down low, I think.
Maybe that's it. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just like the same old, okay, disappearing photos, all right, I guess, but...
It resonates.
It resonates. Yeah. And so that's, to me, the opportunity is like, if you're a dev, here's some really powerful tools, put it together in a new and novel way, differentiate. Hopefully you guys aren't competing for the same user base because you're doing the same thing. Hopefully we're going to see more
like variety than competition now, because you can get something that suits your taste, your user model, the way you think. It's really refreshing.
And that's, in a weird way, the devs are all working together, right? Because the larger the user base gets, the more exciting it gets, the more they're growing the market size for themselves. So they're
a virtuous cycle.
I think so. Yeah. And they also benefit from Android.
Absolutely.
Right?
And the more cross-platform users, because you can't tell what someone's using on the front end.
Exactly.
So I guess my last question for you is, where do you see App.NET going for the rest of the year? No spoilers, of course, but just like general trends you're seeing or things you're thinking about.
So, look, it was announced 10 months ago.
We're not even a year old yet.
Yeah, we're not even a year old yet.
Your pace is incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a busy year.
Yeah.
So
need a Gatorade or something.
I know. I need a vacation, but I'm feeling good. So the API is now mostly complete from a v1.0, right? We had to define the channels API for group messaging, which is now being used. The files API is brand new. When did we announce that? February. So we're just now getting where the pieces are in place that we're like, okay, our original vision for what the API should do is now out. What we've been focusing on recently is, now that we've given the devs the toys that they need, trying to have a great onboarding experience for people that are less technical. Because the fact is, I mean, it is not a great onboarding experience. I'd be the first to self-criticize, but that wasn't what we were optimizing for in the early days.
Well, you got people who were familiar with the tools already to just use your version of the tools.
Precisely. And, we didn't want normal people to sign up because there were no apps.
Yeah.
We had a chicken and egg problem.
Yes.
Like, if there's no apps and it's called app.net, like, why are you, like, we don't want everyone to sign up for alpha and be like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't, that was hugely
deliberate in how you've grown your user base.
Exactly. So now what we're focusing on is, we put out Passport for iOS so that anyone can go into the App Store, download the app, and create an account. We're improving the onboarding process to explain what app.net is, to find apps that you can use with App.net Passport, to find your friends, which is a huge right now we're really bad at that. Yeah. We're not good at that. So like, again, to self-criticize, we're gonna make it much easier to be like, oh, here's who I know that's already on it. And our goal is that if you're a dev and you build a new disappearing video app, I don't know, like that you can build it for iOS, you can launch it, and you know that you're going to get great distribution among our current user base of people that have a huge demand for new apps. And we want it where there's not this brick wall.
Yeah.
For new users that don't know what app.net is or care what app.net is, to be able to sign up and create a new account and onboard and find friends and be right back in your app in the least painless way possible. So we're doing usability testing. Yeah. We want it to be frictionless, or as close as possible, so that if you build a great app, you should be able to bring in the users that you want to bring. And that's the big theme for the summer. And this iOS 7 launch, we know that there's a lot of new apps are going to be launching. So to me, that'll be an exciting time for us, because hopefully all of our new user onboarding, all of our usability testing, all that has paid off. So if someone launches really innovative stuff for iOS 7, they'll be able to...
There'll be a lot of blurry parallax layered apps in the future.
Or maybe they'll go the opposite direction. I don't know. I wonder what people are going to do.
That's the exciting thing. It's going to be the most exciting thing since the iPad launched, I think.
Yeah. And it took me a while to get the iPad as well, like to really understand what people were going to do with it. I think like Evernote. What were some really early apps that used it?
For me, Tweety for iPad was the first really innovative tablet app because you got the layered effects and the panels and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because as a dev, you're like, what do I do with all the space? So they actually use the space in an innovative way. So what the rest of the year looks like is all summer working on new user onboarding, making it seamless, find friends, so that way our current, Whisper could launch and people could sign up and be onboarded in Whisper really quickly because it's still a little bit clunky. And then be ready for the iOS 7 launch in the fall.
Perfect.
So that's what the rest of the year looks like.
Dalton, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. So this is Dalton Caldwell. You can find him at app.net.
Yeah, Dalton is my username.